Hello, I'm Henry Becker, Director of Research with Lighthouse Wealth Management, and today we're going to be talking about Legos. My three boys are huge fans of Legos, and they've been for years. My oldest, 15, he started probably when he was about 8 or 9 years old with Legos and playing with Legos. Back when I was a kid, and I'm turning 50 this year, so this is a long time ago, but when I was a kid, Legos just came in a box. They weren't part of a set with instructions on how to build something, a design or something like that. Where today they do. They come most Legos are sold as a set with instructions with a definitive design in mind. So as my son went further down the rabbit hole with Legos, I started to realize there are more people making money off of Legos than just Lego themselves. So my oldest son, actually all my sons, but my oldest son is a big Star Wars fan, and he collected a lot of the Star Wars Lego sets, and every once in a while he'll still look at them and think, maybe I want to buy one of those. But he had a character on his Christmas and birthday list every year. He wanted a Lego Jango Fett. Now, what I'm talking about is a Lego figure like this guy right here. This is actually Jango Fett's son, Boba Fett. The Jango Fett character looks more or less like this, but he's blue instead of green. So we never bought it. We never bought it for my son, and the reason for that is the Jango Fett little character, just like this, is $60. Now, Jango Fett came as part of a set that was with a bunch of other pieces. It was actually his aircraft and Jango Fett. And the original set in 2002 that Jango Fett came with was $50. But today, Jango Fett alone, the little character, is $60. So I started doing some research to look at some of these rare or unique Lego sets that are more valuable than others. Not just sets, but also, as I've shown you, even the little people can command a premium. So I was absolutely blown away by how big the secondary market for Legos, not just Legos toys as well, but Legos in particular. And I quipped a few times, well, it might be worth just going to Walmart and buying a bunch of boxes and just, of Lego sets and just leave them on the shelves for a while. And don't you know, a few years later, Bloomberg wrote an entire article about Legos and the increasing value of Lego sets. So what's going on here? So the reality is, just like vintage cars or certain bottles of wine or antique jewelry, what have you. Things, the point being, things that aren't going to be remade. They're made and then that's it. They become rare. And Legos really become rare as a toy because if you think about it, when you open the box and, you open the box, the value goes down. You open the box and you play with it, and maybe you scratch up some of the pieces or the stickers or whatever, and then the value goes down. And then the child moves away, and then the parents or grandparents throw the stuff away. So eventually, if there's 100,000 sold, eventually some of these sets are going to become just part of the landfill or what have you, or just lost in a sea of Lego pieces. But for some people, like the two cars I have here are two Porsche 911s. If you have these things in the box, just sitting on the shelf somewhere for a number of years, the value is probably going to go up because they're going to be very rare, just like the actual Porsche 911, the cars themselves. The difference is the average person can afford to buy these two little cars versus a real Porsche or a real Ferrari. So the point being, toys in general, toys in particular, can be very valuable. So don't be too quick to chuck them out if you're cleaning through your house or you're looking at buying something for a child. And quite frankly, if I could go back in time buying some of the Lego sets that I bought for my kids that they've opened and played with, I'd have bought them one set to play with and another set to just leave in a box for 5 or 10 or 15 years and then see what happens to them. Oh, and one more item. And again, this isn't just Legos. So we have here, this is one of my cars, it's a Hot Wheels car from 1976. You can take a look. It's a little Datsun. Most of us recognize these when they were on the road at one point. So I've always been partial to silver, especially silver cars. I actually own a silver Volkswagen right now. But this little item right here, if I happened to have picked it up from the toy store when I was a kid Instead of the silver one, the white one. The white one today is worth $3,000. This car, exact car, but white, same paint job and everything, is $3,000. And again, it just goes back to rarity. They don't make this thing anymore. And people that collect Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars, they'll pay to complete sets and those types of things. So again, make sure you look through toys. Maybe if you think something's rare or might be worth some money, take a look at it. The internet's it's a treasure trove of information, so use it to your ability to figure out what things are worth. And if it's a Lego set, you definitely should take a look at it. If it's in the box, it's probably going to be worth some money someday. Even if it's not in the box, some of the minifigures, the characters, could be worth some money someday. And I'll give you a hint: Star Wars and Harry Potter, big movie franchises, big book franchises, and the Legos are hot commodities and probably will be in the future someday. Long live toys!